I mean, Riley Cooper, I mean, like, that dude deserves a statue. I mean, like,
number one on your speed dial.
Hey, I'll tell you what, like, I mean, I didn't know until a couple days after the fact. I was like, wait a minute, is he the MVP or like we got the alternative team?
No doubt about it.
And then Ty Floyd, when I struck out 17, and like stole it from him. But I was like, when has a pitcher like been a part of like 5 of the 6 wins in Omaha? I mean, what a performance!
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, Jordy.
Thank you for the time. Yes, sir.
Sharp a little late, boys, at the spring game, obviously, as you can see. Couple of booze cruises here to do. Let's pit, cruise, grand salami to the boys, finally back on track. And I got another one coming. Don't you think I don't? And that's how we roll in Tiger Stadium.
Just watching the spring games that were on television, one thing that jumped out about your squad is your quarterback room is very talented compared to a lot of the league and a lot of the country. I wonder, is it easier to recruit that position when you have talent or when you don't have talent? Coach Kelly, we're official.
Finally,
I'm
get a
telling
chance to meet you. Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show,
And
come have a good time.
Tearing up, answering the question, I thought, my God, if Chica is offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, we live. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show, yeah.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right.
Big day. Big day.
Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, Jordy.
Thank you for the time. Welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live here from our Click Here Digital Studios on campus here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Don't mind. Sorry about that. Give us a like, share, and follow to get us going here on this Wednesday morning. Yeah, right, man.
Bump those numbers up.
For the first time, I feel like I'm back for the week.
Yes.
Got that sleep in last night. Needed it. Caught up. The weather yesterday just was dreary for everybody. Hopefully everybody was safe out there.
Probably what
on
you
the
needed.
wet roads. Yeah, it was.
Set the scene for a little sleep day.
It was invited from the weekend. Give us a like, share, follow, subscribe if you don't mind. We appreciate you hitting that subscription button over the last couple of days. If you are watching and not subscribed, do us a favor and hit that subscription button before you get out of here. At 9 a.m. We're going to talk LSU football recruiting. Billy Embody going to stop by here from On 3 at 7:30 this morning. Jacques is going to be through here at 8 a.m. We'll talk to Jacques. Jacques was at the women's game yesterday as Michaela Williams has 42 points. The rookie, the freshman from Shreveport, from up in North Louisiana, the number 1 recruit in the country. Michaela Williams put on a show yesterday. That was as good of a scoring game as I have seen on this campus really since Simona got. I mean, like, there have been people that have come through here like Marcus Thornton who could score, and
Cam Thomas
who could light it up, but she made it look so easy.
That jumper is fluid.
Yesterday, as the Tigers take care of business, 109-79 in a win over Kent State, as Michaela Williams, as a freshman, 42 points yesterday. She set the NCAA she set an NCAA record for freshmen, and just became the 11th player in program history to score over 40 points. And she does it in just her 3rd game as a Tiger. So congratulations to Michaela Williams for her accomplishment yesterday. The Lady Tigers get the win. They do it without Angel Reese in the second half. And Coach Mulkey saying it's a coach's decision not to play Reese yesterday afternoon. So we'll wait and see what happens there on the shakeout of the coach's decision as the Lady Tigers. Let me get you their schedule. They're back on the floor on Sunday, so LSU will be playing again coming up at the end of the week.
Southeastern
at
on
home.
Friday, November 17th, and then Texas Southern Monday, November 20th.
Okay, all right.
And then you're rapidly approaching the Virginia Tech game, which feels like everybody kind of has circled as their first real test. And that would be November 30th. Number 9, Virginia Tech at number 7, LSU, 8 o'clock.
And the men will be playing tomorrow at 3 o'clock. They'll be playing Dayton in Charleston, South Carolina, part of the Charleston Classic. That'll be a 3 o'clock tip-off for LSU versus Dayton coming up tomorrow afternoon, as the Tigers will be on the floor again. But wanted to give a shout-out to Michaela Williams as we start the show here for her accomplishment yesterday as a true freshman. What an incredible feat for the former top recruit as LSU gets another win yesterday. Big week for Jayden Daniels. We'll tell you all about it. We've got, as we said, we'll talk some recruiting with Billy Embody coming up here. Keelan Moses set to make his announcement at the end of the week next week at a high school basketball game. Keelan Moses tweeting out about Alabama, tweeting out about Texas over the last couple of weeks. We will ask Billy Embody what that means. We will also get the latest on Harlem Berry, who's the number 1 running back in America for next year's cycle. We will ask LSU's status with Berry, with Billy Embody coming up here in a couple of minutes at 7:30. So if you have any recruiting questions, jump aboard and get them in. It was a good sign yesterday for recruiting and LSU, as Bryce Underwood, who's the number 1 recruit in the country, the number 1 quarterback in the country for next year's cycle, who has LSU atop of the list, did see Michigan receive a commitment from a quarterback in the 2025 cycle named Carter Smith. He's out of Florida. He is a 4-star quarterback, and he committed to the Wolverines on Tuesday afternoon, and that really sent a lot of people in the recruiting world looking and pointing at Bryce Underwood. Obviously, Underwood is a Michigan native. He is someone who has been, high on Michigan's list and high on the radar there, and it seems like was a finalist for Underwood, somebody that he was very much taking seriously throughout this recruitment. And yesterday they pick up a commitment from a quarterback, which leads a lot of people to believe that LSU is standing in a great spot for the January 6th announcement from Bryce Underwood on what his ultimate decision is going to be. So looking forward to talking some recruiting with Billy coming up here in a couple of minutes. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by RMB and built by RMB, and our phone line is brought to you by Southern Regional Medical Center. Real doctors, real solutions. Charlie Harvey, Jason Ramazan, and the crew over there. Stop by and see them, as today's phone line will feature Billy Embody at 7:30, and Jacques will be in studio with us at 8 a.m. How about the week that Jayden Daniels is having, as he was named the co-national quarterback of the week after his performance versus Florida over the weekend. He, along with Dylan Gabriel from Oklahoma, were named the Davey O'Brien National Quarterback of the Week, which goes obviously to the top performer each Saturday. This has had guys that have been featured like Shedeur Sanders, Quinn Ewers, Michael Penix Jr., Cam Ward from Washington State, Jordan Travis from Florida State, Hayes King from Georgia Tech. Jalen Milroe won the award for his performance versus LSU. Jackson Dart won the award for his performance versus LSU. But Jayden Daniels, who has been the top quarterback in the country seemingly all season long, finally puts his name on the award as he is named the National Quarterback of the Week after his 606 total offensive performance versus Florida over the weekend, as he set SEC record for the total offense award, and he also set an FBS record when he became the first in the history of the sport to run for 200 yards and pass for 350 in the same game, as Daniels rushed for 234 and 2 scores, threw for 372 and 3 touchdowns as well. Daniels had runs of 85 and 51. He averaged 19.5 yards a carry on Saturday versus Florida.
He is averaging a first down every time he touches a football.
Offense had over 700 yards of total offense versus Florida on Saturday night, and Daniels racked up the awards yesterday. Davey O'Brien, National Quarterback of the Week. He was also named the Walter Camp National Offensive Player of the Week, the Maxwell Award National Player of the Week, the SEC Offensive Player of the Week, and he became a Davey O'Brien Award semifinalist for the national award that will be handed out at the end of the season. So, as we said at the start of the week, the respect for Daniels and the level that he is playing the sport at right now is really taking shape. You can see that people around the country are starting to pay attention of what Daniels is doing and what he is ultimately putting down every Saturday. The execution that he plays at is just something that everybody in the country is now talking about. So it is there. I think that, you're starting to roll downhill here for LSU as far as, the attention that the offense and individuals deserve, like Jayden Daniels. So that is good to see.
Did you see where, do you think obviously I'd imagine he gets an invitation to the Senior Bowl, because you have some Jim Nagy quotes in here. He said where it's just, he's made some, there's a quote from Nagy. He's like, he's made some throws where he gets hit in the mouth this year and he's just throwing strikes down the field. He's making a lot more NFL-type throws under duress and down the field than we've seen in the past. And I think that's, bookmark it. That's the difference, right? Everything that you want to see Jayden Daniels get better at, he not only did he get better at it, he's exceeded getting better at it. He is dominating those, it was a, can he throw it downfield? Just try to throw it downfield to, he's taking shots down all over the field, where if he's able to do that like he is, that's where the running game opens up, and then it just becomes this tour de force of offense that he could put up 500-yard games consistently, and that's where it's become too big to ignore nationally.
Right. And look, that has been the difference in Jayden Daniels. Is his trust of the players around him and him taking shots downfield. Everybody was waiting on that. That was the next step of his game that needed to develop, and once it did, you had the confidence that he was going to be, one of the top quarterbacks in the country. Did you think that he was going to be, at least I'm speaking from my point of view, I never thought that he was going to be out far this front of the best in the country right? Like, I mean, like,
I think he's going to make this big of a leap.
right. I mean, where, and I think it's complementary to the players around him as well, right? I mean, it's his skill set. It's his, ability that is putting him in the position to be able to make these plays and be this type of player. But he also has first-round picks littered all around him, whether it's on the offensive line or it's the wide receivers that he's throwing to. I mean, Malik Nabers and Brian Thomas, the argument for, like, I'm almost just kind of like letting the national media have the Marvin Harrison argument. But, like, if you really wanted to go toe-to-toe and debate Malik Nabers over Marvin Harrison, the numbers say that Malik Nabers is better. I mean, now, if you're going to the combine and you want a wide receiver, I get the attraction to Marvin Harrison. Like, I mean, by no means am I trying to disrespect who he is, what he's accomplished, and what he's going to be. He's going to be a big-time pro. He's a big-time college player. He is a premier wide receiver from a prospect standpoint. But everybody just saying, like, boldly, black and white, that he's the best and it's not close, like, huh? What do you mean? Like, the numbers say that the guy at LSU is actually better by a lot. I mean, in some categories.
More yards, fewer touchdowns, but Malik, didn't Marv just put up like a 2 or 3 touchdown game?
Yeah. Again, look, I mean,
they're neck and neck.
Yeah, it's debatable on who's having a better year. That's what I'm saying, right? Like, I mean, and that the fact that people are like, oh, no, Marvin Harrison should be in the Heisman race and be a front runner. You're like, well, hold on. I mean, he doesn't even have the best numbers from the wide receiver standpoint. And when you turn on the film, the ability that Malik Nabers has compared to Marvin Harrison, it's not that far off, right? Like, I mean, where these guys, they one catch can change the scoreboard, both of them. I mean, anytime they touch the ball, they can change the game. What's different between each of them? I get the size, I get the stature, I get all the stuff.
The bloodline.
When you turn on the film and then you look at the stats, how can you just say, oh, no, it's Marvin Harrison, he's the best player in the country? Like, okay. I mean, I'll listen to it, but I'm not just going to give you the argument off the top rope because his dad was an all-pro.
You could pick that smoke with Marvin Harrison if you wanted. I'm staying out that conversation.
But for context, they're trying to give another wide receiver the Heisman. Devontae Smith in his 2020 Heisman season, 13 games, 1,856 yards, 23 touchdowns. Marvin Harrison Jr.'s current numbers after 10 games, 1,063 yards, 12 touchdowns.
It's not that.
It ain't that. One of these is different.
And, like, if I really wanted to become, like, real debatable with you, I'd throw Brian Thomas into the mix too. You know, I mean, it's like,
I think a lot of it is how much input that Marvin Harrison is doing for the Ohio State offense, because
I hear it, I get it.
If they don't have him, I don't know where you turn really, because their offense is a little bit anemic. Kyle McCord isn't. I mean, you saw how good C.J. Stroud is in his transition to the NFL. If they don't have Maserati Marv, I don't know if Ohio State's still sticking around the playoff.
They don't, and I am not disrespecting Marvin Harrison. I don't want it to come off that is what this bit is, this segment is. I'm not. By no means am I doing that, but for it to be just clear cut, non-debatable that Marvin Harrison's the best wide receiver in 2023's edition of college football, I think it's lazy, first off, and it's by no means does it play out. When they go to the combine and they stand next to each other, out of 10 GMs, 8 of them are probably going to say, we want Harrison, because he just checks the boxes of the size and the prototypical wide receiver and what they look like, feel like, and should play like. But when you just put their stats side by side, you turn on the film compared to Nabers and Harrison, you take Marvin Harrison, you take Malik Nabers, see you at the Pro Bowl in a couple of years. I mean, it's just kind of splitting hairs, you know. I mean, you take him, you take him.
Yeah, this was in October, so I'm sure these stats have been updated. But as of October, Marvin Harrison accounted for 43% of their offense. So I think that's why you're getting, because every time he does something, it's a big play, and that's all they can really focus on. But I'm with you. I mean, Malik has been as good as you could have asked for.
How could you play the position any better than Malik Nabers has played wide receiver?
Especially,
this year?
I mean, this is back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, but it's the touchdowns this year. He had 3 touchdowns last year. I think he's up to 10 this year. So that's where you're starting to see the difference. And I think a lot of it comes from like how this conversation started. Last year, Jayden Daniels had a career low 7.5 yards per attempt last year. So he's throwing it 7.5 yards down the field. And when he did take deep shots over 20-plus yards, he was 38%, 517 yards, 5 touchdowns. This year, 66% for 938 and a 15-0 touchdown ratio. Career high 11.5 yards an attempt. That's the difference. He's using Malik Nabers more.
And Brian Thomas. Because Brian Thomas is going to light the combine up too.
Oh, he's a freak.
I mean, he's going to get off the bus at the combine. People are going to be like, say what?
Wait, did you see the post LSU had yesterday? It was a preview on LSU Gold. And they flashed Cortez Hankton up there, and they asked him about Brian Thomas. He was like, that's a smooth brother. And that's all you can think about when you see Brian Thomas. He looks like he can't run like he does.
Brian Thomas
6'4"?
Yeah.
210?
Brian Thomas,
runs
as
like
a freshman in high school, was the Class 5A MVP of the state title basketball game. I mean, you're talking about a freaky athlete. There's not too many people that can do that. There's not too many people that can accomplish that. I mean, I believe they were playing Washita Christian or Natchitoches Central, one of them. I forget who they were playing, but Walker defeated the 5A state title basketball game when Brian Thomas was a true freshman, a freshman in high school, and Thomas was the best player on the floor. I mean, he is a special athlete. He's running by SEC defensive backs like they're standing still. I mean, he makes plays on the football that pros are making. Thomas is going to go to the combine, run, jump, physically perform top of wide receivers. I mean, he will be at the top of all of those. When they see him jump, when they see his strides up close, that this dude is covering like 4.5 yards per stride when he runs, I mean, the dude is literally like a gazelle.
Hitting 22 on the GPS, coach.
And it doesn't look like he's even trying. I mean, his head's cocked back. He's running. I mean, it's like he's jogging. I mean, it's like he's not like got his head down, sprinting, straining to run. I mean, he's freaky, man.
I think the most impressive part about his game is his intermediate moves. Like, you don't expect him to be that big and move
and shaky
and shake people. Like,
yes.
He gets people out of their shoes.
No, I mean, people. Brian Thomas is, I would say, Perkins, Thomas,
Malik, John,
Emory Jones, Jayden Daniels,
Quincy Wiggins, probably.
Quincy's up
freak
there.
athletes.
I'm just athletes. I'm just trying to think. But Brian Thomas is probably
the best athlete.
He's probably the best athlete on the team. I mean, listen to the names you just wrote. Will Campbell.
Yeah, like if I'm picking a basketball team, I'm going BT
first.
BT
is your first pick. I mean,
then I'm taking Emory Jones.
Yep.
He has a long of 75, 49, 42, 86, and 52.
Oh, he's a threat every time he touches it.
That's what I'm saying. He's house calling.
Every time he touches the ball, he could house.
I mean, did you see him on the Jayden Daniels 85-yard run? He is
picking
them up, putting them down.
No, let me see it. Bring it up. I want to watch that. I love Coach, stuff like that.
And he was running downfield, looking for bodies.
He is picking them up, putting them down.
Kyron Lacey murders the backside cornerback.
Kyron Lacey should probably move to DB. Like, his physicality at receiver is
the all 22 shot of the long run, the 80-yard run. He is Like, I mean, he's manslaughter on the backside of the play. I mean, he is the guy. He won't let him up. He can't get off the ground, and he's 35 yards away from the play. I mean, he's 40 yards away from the play.
He loves to block. That's what keeps him on the field. I mean, obviously you've seen him make some impact as a wide receiver catching the football, but that's where he makes his hay because he is a willing blocker. Same thing with Josh Williams.
They all do, though.
Yeah.
Like Malik, Brian Thomas, any receiver that gets in the game, you blocking.
Anytime you're like, I think Brian Kelly said it best. I mean, anytime you see an 80-yarder,
everybody's doing
somebody
something right.
Like people are doing their job. You know what I mean? Like, yes, that is a freaky athlete that can bust at 80, but you got to have people like keeping people away from you. Especially the way Jayden Daniels busts him. I mean, like Jayden, he runs out of the screen by himself. All right, we're going to talk to Billy Embody here in a couple of minutes. Stewie's pulling up the run. I want to see Thomas running alongside Jayden because Jayden Daniels is. I mean, he flies, man. I mean, he is the way he makes running look so smooth and easy is the best part about him.
Did you see Charles Turner talking about him? I believe it was Charles Turner.
Yeah.
It's just like what did he say? He goes, if you've ever seen a gazelle like being chased by lions and cheetahs, he just gallops away. He just glides away. He really does. Like it looks like a kid that stole something in the house that he's not supposed to have, but you just can't catch him. He's just running away from you. And he does like these funny little like moves. Like he doesn't want to even get two-hand touched.
Like when he jumped out of bounds on the 5 when he like. I mean, like that.
I thought he was going to cut it back again.
The footwork on that.
Number 14 was so mad. He was
right. Like, I mean, like you don't even touch him. You know what I mean? Because he's just kind of like messing with you. And that is that is the like, you know, Jordan, my son, was like, how does it? It's footwork. Mm-hmm. It's all footwork. It is all Odell Beckham, the reason why you couldn't get your hands on him a decade ago in the NFL, footwork. You couldn't touch him. He'd get you in these boxes in a telephone booth, and he would.
I don't know where he's going. Yes,
like I mean, it was all footwork, and even like I saw Odell warming up for Baltimore on Sunday. He still got it.
I mean, did you see he took another slant to the house?
Yes, I mean, like he still has that ballerina, like dancer type. I'm talking like
light on his feet,
theater type dancing ability to like, I mean, that, and it's all footwork. It all comes back to footwork with these guys that make running and can move so smooth and make it look so easy.
I think that's the fastest he's probably recorded.
Okay, so Brian Thomas is at the bottom of the screen over here, all the way at the bottom.
Like A-Bears Specialty Meats, ABearsMaurice.com is where you can find them online, but A-Bears here locally, they've got a couple of spots. Robears, over in Robears Grocery Store on Highland Road, right near Kenilworth, right there by Superior Grill. You can pick up all A-Bears meats. And then out in Prairieville, of course, they have their spot too. Great for holidays. If you're thinking about gift cards, they've got great specials on gift cards where they're handing away $25 gift cards. If you spend $100, you get a $25 gift card. A-Bears, located in Prairieville and in Baton Rouge, in Robears Grocery Store over on Highland Road, right near Kenilworth. Stop in and see him, especially during this holiday season. Tell him you heard it here on the Culotta Show. We come back, we'll talk recruiting. Billy Embody. What's going on with Keelan Moses? What do we expect with Harlan Berry and his announcement? What's happening with Bryce Underwood after yesterday's commitment to the University of Michigan by Carter Smith, who's a 4-star quarterback out of Florida? What's that mean for Underwood and LSU? All of that with Billy Embody next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Give us a like, share, follow, a subscription before you get out of here. Come back with us as we are live here from Click Here Digital.
Oh, I love that. I wonder what it means.
Hey, Chino. Cut my headphones up, bro. Yeah, right there. Now I'm focused on getting deposits. Evil in the way, now I'm just driving around it.
Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done. Corrects done. Personal injury done. Workers' comp done. Truck wrecks done. Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done. It was Christmas Eve. Santa Claus was riding in his He was packed with toys for the girls and boys, merrily on his way. When a Grinch riding on a reindeer pulled right. Santa Claus got Gordon, got it done.
Merry Christmas from Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and in every Louisiana house, all the creatures were stirring.
Santa's coming.
Even the mouse. The stockings were hung, the cookies were out. Santa was on his way to Louisiana, there was no doubt. So let's celebrate the season and start the new year off right. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good night.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Okay, Gordon, ready to talk a little bit about yourself today? Okay, good. Tell us, who is Gordon McKernan?
Great question. In a lot of ways, I'm just like most people. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a son. I am a brother. I'm a Christian. I am a Tigers fan. I am a Louisiana sportsman. But above all, I am grateful to the people of Louisiana. We want to be your lawyers for life. Hi, I'm Gordon McKernan. Everyone has a special Christmas memory. One of mine is when I woke up on Christmas morning, ran down the stairs, and there it was, a brand new red bicycle.
That is why this Christmas, Gordon McKernan is giving away over 425 bicycles throughout the state of Louisiana.
To register, please fill out a form online at GordonGives.com or GetGordon.com. And make sure to visit the Get Gordon Facebook page for additional details and chances to win. From all of us here at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, Merry Christmas and God bless.
If you're in the market for a mortgage lender, you need to start with Doug Bickley and his team. Bickley has built a crew with over 50 years of combined lending experience. They've been in business for over 20 years, and they love helping their clients achieve the American dream of home ownership. They're also key with working in real estate agents and helping their clients getting same-day pre-approval. They average about one buyer a day getting them in a home. If you want to get in touch with Doug and his crew, it's easy. Call them 225-214-5154. 225-214-5154. Go see the Bickley team today. They're located on the corner of Coursey Boulevard and Sherwood Forest right here in Baton Rouge.
What's up?
What's happening?
Chilling with a couple of cool guys. You?
Chilling and watching some tube. Hold on. Did you do it? Hold on. Did you do it?
Roof's up.
Hold on.
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
You can't put the cart before the horse. That'd be like, will you marry me?
Do I know you?
Never sign a contract with a roofer before he gets on your roof. Call Go Roof instead. We offer a free, no-obligation inspection. A beautiful roof every single time. Bobby, goes in the front.
Roof, roof, Go Roof.
Belmont Stakes Race Trainer. I'm sticking to roofing.
Roof, roof, Go Roof.
Kentucky Derby training. I'm sticking to roofing.
Roof, roof, Go Roof.
Head health is incredibly important for our student athletes. One of the best ways we're trying to address concussions is on the front end. We're trying to prevent these before they happen, and a big part of that is speaking to the athletes, letting them know what to expect. Okay, speaking to the parents, what to look out for, talking to the coaches so they know the vital importance. Some of the big things we're looking for with a concussion, which is, a traumatic brain injury, is one, was there a mechanism? Was there an injury that took place that could lead to this? Often a direct blow to the head, a head-to-head hit. If someone's showing signs of concussion, our first step is always to remove them from activity, get them to a place where there's less stimuli, where we can really just sit down and get a feel for the athlete, what they're feeling. We're looking for headache, we're looking for dizziness, any sign that coordination is off, that something's just not right. Get a good evaluation of them to understand what's going on. It's not worth the risk that may be there to kind of ignore it, because there are very serious consequences if we don't treat a concussion properly.
Don't let concerns about shifts in the market disrupt your long-term financial goals. Edward Jones financial advisor Daniel Newman can help. He'll work with you on an investment strategy for long-term results. Edward Jones can give you the tools and knowledge for a steady approach to hitting your financial targets. Get started today by calling Daniel Newman at 225-261-8262. 225-261-8262. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
They said I need a soul searching, I already found it. I unlocked my other side, now I'm sounding astounded. Drive by and let it ride like a whip in a Tesla. Pressure never fazed me cause I'm bigger than pressure.
All right, welcome back here, Jordy Culotta Show. As always, we are powered by R&B Builders. Get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at R&B, rb-builders.com. That's where you can find him online and search him at R&B Builders on Instagram. Our next guest, Billy Embody, is great for us, a resource for recruiting. You can find it On3. Stop at On3 at on3.com. You can check Billy out on social media at Billy Embody to keep up with everything that's going on. Lots to get to in recruiting, so let's jump right into it. Billy, good morning. How are you?
Doing well, guys. How are you?
All right, a lot of stuff happening here. We saw a Michigan quarterback commit happen over the last 24 hours. We know that Bryce Underwood, the number one quarterback in the country, is out of Michigan in the cycle for 2024. What does this do for his upcoming announcement on January 6th?
Yeah, this is a massive piece because Carter Smith, the four-star quarterback that committed to Michigan, is somebody that the Wolverines just really recently offered and turned up the heat on, and was in Ann Arbor recently for a visit, and now has committed, which is big. And anytime you're recruiting quarterbacks, there's always a discussion, well, do you take one, do you take two? Most schools per cycle take one unless you're in a bad situation. And that's where, once that happens, you got to look at it as, is this really them bowing out of the race for Bryce Underwood? No, he's the number one player in the country. But it is worthwhile that they want a bird in the hand, and they want somebody that is going to be added to that class of 2025 in Carter Smith. That's why they offered. That's why they turned up the heat. So it's certainly worthwhile to mention that. Bryce Underwood, very much in the picture for LSU. Michigan kind of hanging around is kind of the feeling that most people get on him, because you have Carter Smith being taken, but he's also not visited Michigan for a game, which he's been there so many times that doesn't necessarily feel like Michigan's out. But talking to folks around Michigan that cover the program, it seems like LSU has taken the large lead here, which is what you want. And he's a couple months away now from making that decision on January 6th. He's got a top 7 that LSU is in the mix with. Florida State is also in there. Oregon, Penn State, Alabama, and Colorado join LSU and Michigan. And LSU is the leader on the recruiting prediction machine for On3. A couple predictions have been logged now. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens here down the stretch. But if he were to commit today, and we've kind of said this for a long time, it would be LSU. It's just a matter if there's going to be some sort of twist thrown into the race for the number one player in the country. And right now, we're not seeing it, but we'll see if he takes visits in December, because Michigan does have their state championship game for the high schools over Thanksgiving weekend. So once that comes and goes, he could theoretically take some visits, albeit not for any games after that.
Underwood's the number one player in 2025. He's the number one quarterback in that cycle as well. The number one running back, Harlem Berry, announced he's going to make his college choice in mid-December, coming up on December 18th. LSU, Texas, and Florida going to have hats on the table here. This is Frank Wilson recruiting a running back in Louisiana, right? I mean, we should all feel secure that you've got your top agent at the top position on this operation.
100%. And this is a prospect that does sit at the top of his position ranking in the class of 2025. And Harlem Berry, an explosive prospect overall, just makes plays all over the field for St. Martin's, an accomplished sprinter, has really developed physically since he broke out with that offer in the summer of 2022 from LSU and got on the radar in a big way. When that happened, he was blowing up at that point heading into his sophomore year, I guess it would have been. But from there, Frank Wilson has really pressed all the right buttons here in this recruitment. Harlem hasn't, I don't think, visited a ton of schools. Texas is one of them. I believe he's been to Florida once or twice, but LSU has done a really nice job getting him on campus for key moments and getting him in for multiple games and having him at camp with Bryce Underwood and throwing in Tiger Stadium and doing all of those things. I think LSU is certainly in the lead. They are the odds-on favorite to get him. I think they get him. It's just a matter of making sure everything's all buttoned up there as he goes towards this, I believe, December 18th commitment date, which is noteworthy because it's right before the early signing period, so you can get a little bit of boost off of that maybe, and it's about a month before Bryce Underwood makes his decision. And if LSU does in fact reel in Harlem Berry like we feel they will, then you have Harlem Berry, the number one running back, and you have DeCorian Moore, a 5-star wide receiver committed in the class of 2025, and DeCorian Moore could end up being the number one wide receiver in that class. So if you're talking about recruiting Bryce Underwood, you're doing a really good job of setting yourself up to have elite talent around him, not only on campus already, but in his class, which is really important when you talk about building a class out. You want your quarterback to be your leader. If you were to get Bryce on January 6th, he'd have a ton of time to help recruit for that class. But you really want that group to kind of come in and grow together. And getting Harlem Berry would just be the latest example of that.
Another one in that class that everybody is looking towards is Keelan Moses, who has set his announcement date for next week. It'll be at a high school basketball game following Thanksgiving. I believe November 30th is the actual date of the announcement. Moses is, man, if you're following him on social media right now, he's got a lot of people guessing. He's got a lot of people wondering, and a lot of people here locally freaking out a little bit. We've seen Alabama tweets pop up. We've seen Texas tweets pop up. Where do you anticipate he makes his announcement next week?
Yeah, I think it's going to be LSU, barring something late that really changes things. But Harlem Berry, Keelan Moses, those two, I would say, are ones that LSU sits in the lead for. They're expected to get them at this point. Texas has done a really nice job with both. That's the school that I've heard, at least with Harlem Berry, that has been the one that has really made the biggest push. And Keelan even tweeted something out last night, I believe it was, that was a Texas graphic. But all that said, both look good for LSU. And you again talk about kind of building some dominoes up in the class of 2025. And a lot of those big-time prospects in Louisiana, they'll take visits in the spring. They'll maybe take an official visit or two. Last year, I mean, Joel Rogers was, I believe maybe he took an official visit and then committed to LSU. I know he canceled his Alabama one. But you see sometimes the prospects in Louisiana want to get out and see places. But if you can get those two, Keelan Moses and Harlem Berry, which we expect them to get, on board before the calendar even turns to 2024, then you have J.D. LaFleur, Brett Bourdelon already in the class. That's what you want to see in terms of locking down Louisiana. And LSU has a really good start on the class of 2025, and it's a major group of prospects that are going to be among the nation's best in terms of the top-ranked guys. So I really like what they're doing in 2025. They've done a nice job laying down the groundwork. And if you get Keelan Moses in, that's important because he is super talkative, great kid, right there on LSU's campus that can recruit whenever guys come in town to visit the program, which is always nice. That's a nice piece to have as well.
Bill, another decommitment at the defensive back this week for LSU. Kai Bates, 4-star out of Florida, announced he was pledging away from the class. What does this mean, Billy? I mean, this is obviously a position of need and concern that they cannot attract talent to. What's going on?
Yeah, I think Kai Bates is one where he's very raw. He's only been playing the position a little bit, and I got the sense, and it's very different from what happened with Andre Evans, who flipped to Georgia, but Kai just is really quiet and kind of a hard kid to read. So I don't know what truly went on behind the scenes for him in terms of his decision, because over the summer we thought it would probably be Tennessee, and then that buzz kind of faded off and he was just quiet about it and went through his process and lo and behold committed to LSU. But LSU has done a nice job continuing to evaluate cornerbacks. Bernard Kazi in state, PJ Woodland in Mississippi, both have jumped on board, and those are kind of two replacements now for Kai Bates and Andre Evans, kind of reading the writing on the wall that was coming. I'm interested to see if they do add another corner. Terry Bussey is a guy they're trying to flip from Texas A&M, but he's kind of more of a nickel. But when it comes down to the cornerback position, I think what you lose with Kai is a lot of ready size. Like when he gets to a college program, he's going to get a little bit stronger and things like that. But he is so new to the position. He is raw, but he has those ball skills. I don't know. I got the sense LSU did just about everything they could to try to keep Andre Evans, but at the same time, with this one, with Kai Bates, they probably felt like, all right, we have Bernard Kazi, we have PJ Woodland. Those are two guys we evaluated as seniors and really, really liked and pushed for them. And Kai Bates now leaves. Maybe that one they didn't sweat as much for whatever reason, which is what it is. You would have liked to have seen them keep him, which I think they would have. But just kind of the buzz behind the scenes was Andre Evans was one that they were, pretty upset about, and but nothing you could do if the kid wants to go to Georgia, out of state kid especially. But with Kai Bates, it was a little bit more of we feel good about what we have, and that's really kind of what it boiled down to, kind of behind the scenes, if that makes sense.
Billy, it seems like every week we have you on, we're talking about a watch list of Texas A&M commits, decommits, how LSU could maybe go in and feast on that group. They've had some success here over the last couple of weeks, and now the news comes down that Jimbo Fisher is out in College Station. How does that affect that recruiting class as a whole, and how does that maybe help LSU of extending some of these conversations?
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how it impacts that class, because you have a class that for the most part was pretty tight, and with all the uncertainty that hit College Station, you saw Weston Davis flip, you saw Draylon Miller decommit, and at the same time you've seen Ty Anthony Smith, Terry Bussey, Blake Ivy, Gabe Relaford, Dominic McKinley stand firm in their commitments to the Aggies. And so it'll be interesting now that, the Band-Aid's been ripped off in College Station. Who do they hire? Who does that coach keep? I think you can look at the Elijah Robinson being named interim coach, similar to Brad Davis being named interim coach at LSU. The expectation is you want the next coach to keep him. And that's kind of what I've heard. So he's a very important recruiter in College Station, and very, very tight with a lot of the class, is kind of that Frank Wilson level. He's involved with just about everybody who's being recruited by A&M on some capacity, whether it be lead recruiter, secondary, being in contact here and there, things like that. So making him interim coach was all about trying to keep the class together as best they can. So LSU does play Texas A&M next weekend, and it wouldn't shock me if we saw some of those commitments and some of those guys that A&M and LSU are fighting over, that they would be in Baton Rouge for the game. And it'll be, again, interesting to see if A&M can get their hire buttoned up relatively quickly, what that will do for them in terms of either keeping some of those guys, or if those guys don't mesh with the new staff, then maybe they quickly go elsewhere. It's kind of all up in the air because at the same time, LSU's trying to flip Terry Bussey, Gabe Relaford, Dominic McKinley, guys like that. Those guys are on the defensive side of the ball, and where the changes kind of, buzzing about in Baton Rouge on the defensive side of the ball. So this is all going to get a little crazy with the coaching carousel. The early signing period coming in the, I think December 20th off the top of my head is when that is. So lots of interesting times in recruiting to come, which is, what makes it the best. December is going to be a lot of fun potentially for LSU, especially if they can get some of these guys that they've been trying to flip across the finish line and get them to, flip.
Billy, obviously you spend a lot of time in Texas. You're pretty well connected over there with high school coaches and the recruiting scene. Anything you're hearing in the underground of Texas A&M and that job and it opening up?
Yeah, this is a job that, we've seen them go out and try to get Jimbo Fisher, a coach that comes in with a national championship, came in with a mega contract, all of those things, the national championship trophy, and all that kind of weird stuff, for lack of a better, explanation about some of the things you see out of College Station. But they didn't spend all this money to go out and hire a cheap option. That's just not what the buzz on the ground is here. I think they're going to go swing at Dan Lanning and Mike Norvell and try to make them say no. I know Dan Lanning came out with comments earlier this week, but all these coaches are going to come out with comments. Jeff Traylor, who's the UTSA coach, is a Texas high school football legend and has done a really good job at UTSA. Doesn't have any resources there. He's a guy that some people would like to see get a shot at a big job like A&M and see how things would go in that respect. And, there is also the thought of Mike Elko from Duke. I know he kind of shot things down as well. But all of that, who knows where they're going to go. I know Lane Kiffin's name was floated, but there's just a thought that, Jimbo's contract to be the Texas A&M coach is what it was. That's probably the type of deal you're talking about for whoever gets the job. It's similar to when Dave Aranda got that contract to be LSU's defensive coordinator. What has LSU's defensive coordinator made pretty much from then on out? That salary. So when you set the bar that high, they're going to spend the money on whoever the next coach is. It's going to be interesting to see who he retains in terms of staff and what impact that will have on this recruiting class in particular this year. But I expect them to swing big because they've got money to burn, and they obviously made a $76 million decision to go in a different direction, which I honestly thought they would probably give him another year, especially kind of considering Connor Wigman's injury, really kind of probably messing with their season a little bit. But, they're going to spend money, and it will be one of those things where they will make somebody say no if they want them bad enough.
Billy Embody from On3 at Billy Embody on social media. You can find all the work there at on3.com. A part of the Bengal Tiger, and the podcast has been fantastic, following each game every Saturday if you want to check that out as far as some instant reaction goes. Billy, thank you. Have a great week. We'll talk next week.
Anytime. Thanks for having me, Jordy.
Billy Embody checking in. One of the best, man. If you're looking for recruiting information and you want to stay on top of it, Billy's as connected, and especially over in the state of Texas. He travels. He's at games and on high school sidelines every Friday night. He's tight with the coaches. He's tight with the recruits. He's really a great resource, and we appreciate his time each week here with us, as we are brought to you each day by Go Roof online at geauxroof.com. Remember our friends over at Go Roof. You can simply just log online and learn about them at geauxroof.com, and you'll see that it is a beautiful roof every single time. Or you can call them at 225-927-8300, 225-927-8300, and you get that customer service, that one-on-one environment that you can get in touch with. Trust your roofer. Get them up on the roof today. See if there's anything that they can diagnose for you. If it over the last 24 hours with the rain that's been in South Louisiana, if you found a leak, if there was something that was leaking, you want to get somebody out, call our friends over at Go Roof, geauxroof.com, or call them 225-927-8300. When you dial that number, you can count on roof repair, roof installation, roof maintenance, whether it's commercial roofing or residential roofing. They can help you out with all of it. New roof installs, roofing repairs. Online, geauxroof.com. Roofs up with our friends over at Go Roof. A beautiful roof every single time. 225-927-8300. 225-927-8300. Top of the hour, when we come back, Jacques Doucet from WAFB will be through. We will talk about the opening at Texas A&M and some of the names that are popping up and making sense here early on. And with LSU on the field this week, what are some of the things we'll be watching out for? All when we come back here. Jordy Culotta Show. Give us a like, share, follow, interact, subscribe if you have not done so. We appreciate all of it. Come back with us. Hour 2 next.
Circumstances start to change and they jump in the ship. Only ones that really matter who's tied to your hip. They tried to push you to the side because they thought you would quit. May bend but never break. Your cloth is legit.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
All right, buddy. Make it a good shot. Oh, yeah. Sticking the roof in.
For a hole in your roof, for a whole new roof, go roof. Roof, roof, go roof.
Hey, Greg, roof up?
Roofs up.
Roofs up.
Roofs up.
Roofs up.
Roofs up.
Roofs up. Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
Well, the Ochsner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute collaborative effort
was an idea from Dr. Andrews and myself to bring together two great names, the Andrews name and the Ochsner name, to elevate the quality of care for athletes in the state of Louisiana, where he's from.
I always thought I would come back to Louisiana and practice orthopedics with my subspecialty being sports medicine. This was an opportunity through Ochsner's to come back and work the entire state to help develop and take sports medicine to a new level.
As an orthopedic surgeon, what this means in the future in terms of, access for our community to the type of care that Dr. Andrews pioneered, words can't describe how valuable that is.
Ochsner has a great opportunity here to really grow, and Dr. Burnham, of course, is the mainstay of making that happen. If you want to have first-class sports medicine care, check in with Dr. Burnham and his group, and you'll be more than impressed and pleased.
I'm Tom Granite with Gilmar.
When you return in rare form, they all gonna be sick. You ever seen a living legend, just know that I'm it. Slow grind like IT, just know that I'm it. Now I'm back up in my bag, I'm giving them fits. Bounce it back like John Morant, you know that I'm back.
Louisiana, full service digital marketing plans, helping you out with your Google ads, your Facebook ads, your content, OTT television, whatever you may be looking for from a digital marketing standpoint. Click Here Digital can help you out and give you the consultation and direction that you need today. If you want a direct contact, email me, Jordy at clickheredigital.com. And if you want to find out more about Click Here Digital, the website's awesome, clickheredigital.com. Every Wednesday, we are joined by the WAFB sports director, our 9 sports director here locally, and that is Jacques Doucet, who is been all over the place the last couple of days. Saw him at LSU women's hoop yesterday during the day. Obviously, all the football media time that's allotted right now. LSU baseball going through a couple of fall scrimmages on the weekend. You can count on WAFB for all of your coverage with Jacques leading the sports department over there. Jacques, good Wednesday morning to you.
Wow, thank you, man. That was a great introduction. Very thoughtful on your part. Much more thoughtful, real quick, old man rant. Look, if you're on College Drive and somebody is you're trying to make a left turn to get your coffee real quick, and somebody lets you in.
No wave?
Just wave thank you. Just a quick, not an entitlement of I deserve this, talking on the phone like this. I think I let 4 people in one wave thank you. I think that's 25%.
Pet peeve.
Well, Jacques, they haven't had their morning coffee yet.
That is.
Don't talk to me till I've had my coffee.
Right. Don't talk to me until you have your coffee. That is a pet peeve of mine. I mean, don't sweat the small things. But when you let somebody into traffic and they don't wave thank you, I just was that Peter Griffin on, what grinds my gears?
Especially in this town.
Well said, JD, because I'm with you right there. Man. I mean, just simple.
Yeah.
Even a head nod will do. All right, so you went and saw the ladies yesterday. And Michaela Williams, 42 points. Jacques, you've seen all of the success that this program has gone through. You saw, I believe you were at Simone Augustus's announcement that she was coming to LSU. You saw all of her games, everything through that era. Michaela is as natural of a scorer as I have seen since Simone in referencing. I mean, yesterday looked very easy in that 42.
Yeah. I remember covering her at the top 28 in Hammond, and it didn't look any different in terms of her ability to score, bringing the ball down the floor, spotting up and shooting from 3. She's strong, so she goes in and rebounds and gets putbacks as well. And Simone was kind of steady Eddie at LSU. She would always score 20, 25. I don't think Simone she didn't, obviously. This is the most points an LSU player has scored since 1995, Cornelia Gayden, and it's the most points by an LSU freshman in the NCAA era, as they refer to it as. So, and this is on a team that is loaded with talent, too. This is not obviously a one-man show where, okay, we got to get the ball to Michaela and have her score to win. And I don't think she was hogging it either. It wasn't like she was, I got to get to 40 or whatever. So, it was something to behold in a very unique atmosphere, in which you had 8,000 kids there, I think, that were busting. It's the elementary field trip game. The pitch of the crowd was very high. Like a lot of people were like, whoa, my eardrums, because the kids were screaming and yelling. It was awesome. So they were all there to see it, and they cheered for everything. And a 30-point victory for the Tigers yesterday. Anissa Morrow, a lot of hustle, active, 9 steals.
Yeah.
And she had 8 rebounds, so she wasn't that far off from a triple-double herself.
So LSU ladies back in action Friday versus Southeastern, and we'll be back on the floor again Monday night as well.
Which is going to be a huge Southeastern has sold out that game.
Wow.
7,500. They say it's going to be the largest crowd in the history of that building. Concerts, basketball. I think they said the largest they ever had was for Simone when she was a senior at Capitol, whatever they. But, that thing is sold out, wall-to-wall on a Friday night in the middle of high school football playoffs and all that.
Wow.
And so
this is Mulkey going home, right?
Yeah, her area. And so it was funny. She when she finished her deal, she was walking off the podium, and she was like, y'all need to write about that. That says something from my home, that they sold that place out and everything. So she's excited about it, and it'll be interesting. That'll be a hell of a crowd.
All right, Jacques, you were in Tiger Stadium on Saturday night. You, again, a great reference for, some of the great memories and moments that have happened in that building. What did you see Saturday with Jayden Daniels' performance, something that has never been done in the history of college football?
Yeah, you don't want to get caught up in hyperbole and trying to go viral with a big statement or whatever, but no LSU quarterback has ever run like this guy runs. I mean, I visited with Herb Tyler on Friday at the event that you MC there at the Lod Cook Hotel. He could run, and he had those 2 touchdown runs against Florida in 1997 when LSU upset the Gators when they were number 1. But I mean, an 85-yard touchdown run from a quarterback.
Didn't get touched,
straight up the sideline. I chatted with his dad, and I told him what everyone else says. I said, it is uncanny how Jayden just doesn't appear like he's even trying.
Yeah.
And he just glides. Charles Turner, the center last night during play interviews, described him as a gazelle.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen a gazelle like dodge away from cheetahs and lions and stuff? That's what he does. And he goes, I think that was the most I ever saw him look like he was laboring a tad, was on the 85-yarder. And then the 51-yarder, I mean, a lot of quarterbacks, they run to the outside, they run out of bounds. I mean, Jayden runs into the heart of the defense.
He does. He plays between the hash marks.
Like right at linebackers and stuff, and then just kind of, I described it like as a jet boat just leaving canoes, I mean, the defenders are trying to catch up, and he's just, down there coasting to the shore. So it was an all-time performance. I mean, he ran for 234. He threw for 372. Last year, I mean, if you go through his highlights last year, how many deep balls did he complete? I think he had the one to Jure in the swamp when Florida jumped off sides, and he chunked it. And besides that, I don't remember, he had one to Nabers when they played Mississippi State. I think it was a 4th and 1, but that was only like a 25-yarder or something like that. I mean, he threw at least 3 to Brian Thomas in this game, right? Which were just like,
beautiful.
Like I couldn't walk down and just drop it over his shoulder any better. And so it's been pretty amazing to see. And it's not, I think that the criticism to an extent was warranted. He averaged 208 yards passing last year. He threw 17 touchdowns in 14 games. He has got 30 touchdowns this year in 10 games. And what's crazy about it is his rushing numbers are better than they were last year. He's averaging 91 yards per game rushing. Last year, I think he was at 63 or something like that. And so you look at the other guys up for the Heisman, and I haven't watched a ton of football. And but Penix, he's not a runner.
Mm-hmm.
I think his numbers for the year are in the negatives. Rushing. Bo Nix, I think, has 121 yards rushing on the year. Now, both of those guys have navigated really great teams to success. And so how much does that hurt Jayden? I don't know. Marvin Harrison Jr. has had a tremendous season, but I don't think he's a candidate to win the Heisman. I think that's more Malik Nabers' discussion for the Bolitnikoff. But, it's just, at the end of the day, I don't want to be negative, but someday some kid's going to say, well, what did that team do when Jayden Daniels was well, son, the defense was just so bad that
It's two sides to the
they
football.
lost every,
Yeah, there's two sides of it, You wouldn't be, the offense was so good. It's like, well, let me tell you something about the defense. because that's where the season kind of got away from you a little bit.
Got undercut. The Florida State game, he kind of looked like he did last year to an extent. He played well. He's not the reason they lost that game. But since that point forward, he's been amazing. And so, but yeah, that's just going to be the tough thing. I mean, if your defense was C-, you might have one loss right now and be playing in the SEC championship.
That's right. It's amazing. I mean, on all the years that you would struggle defensively, you've got this world-class offense that can go anywhere and compete.
And one thing I wanted to say last week to you after that Alabama game, Jordy, how many times over the years, say from like 2008 through like 2018, when LSU played Alabama, it was the defense that had no margin for error.
Right, that's right.
It was like Danny Etling,
right,
Brandon Harris,
Anthony
Jennings, Joe Burrow, 2018. They didn't score. They got shut out. 29. Can you guys score 2 touchdowns? Can you get us to 17 points? Please. We're hanging on by dear life, making these guys punt or forcing a turnover, whatever. And, like the 2014 game when Kendall Beckwith recovers a fumble at the 5-yard line in Tiger Stadium, and you should win the game. The Vidal Alexander personal foul and everything. You lose in overtime, 20-13. So it was 13-13 in regulation. And now it's like, well, we got an offense, and I think Jayden was at almost 400 yards of total offense before he got knocked out early or something like that. And you just can't force any punts. And
2016, you lost 10-0 to Alabama.
Correct. Yeah, you referenced that. That was a great reference last week. 0-0 going to the fourth quarter.
Right.
I mean, if they're still playing that game, I'm not sure LSU scores that night.
No.
They could not get
you were praying that was a scoop and score for Duke Riley because that was the only chance you had.
Was that the Jamal Adams first play of the game pick?
Yes.
Yes.
Jalen Hurts was the difference in the game that night.
Yeah, put him in Alabama territory, Stewie. I think
3 and out.
Yeah, he caught it at like the 30-yard line.
Yeah, they somehow went backwards and punted.
3 and out.
Hell yeah!
Toss dive, coach. We got this. We got Leonard Fournette back here. I got to toss this thing back.
It was.
Jalen Hurts had 20 carries and he threw it 19 times.
And he had a great touchdown.
He had the one run where everybody was complaining about the holding.
It was a hold.
Yeah, I know it was, but that's what you were.
Wasn't one. It was
Yeah,
three.
it was like 2 or 3. Yeah, it was bad.
But that's what you needed. You were just like, can we get a call now too? It's like,
we got to account for that.
Scored 7 points.
You're looking up what is that 16 you're looking at? So I think Etling threw one pass to Chark that he caught for like 37 yards.
He had.
Or something like that.
I know exactly what play you're talking about.
That was the only thing they hit all night. It was early in the game, and it was like they brought the blitz, and Etling like chunked it, and Chark or somebody caught it.
He had 3 for 45, 3 catches for 45 yards. The next closest one is, Colin Jeter, 2 catches for 18 yards. Lighten up the scoreboard.
What was Etling's stat line?
11 of 24 for 92 yards and an interception.
And yet you were in the game.
I mean, that's a drive for this team.
A bad one.
I mean, really.
Yeah. Well, not to dig too far. Look up Anthony Jennings' numbers from 14 in that game.
Man.
I think he threw for 85, 90 yards, something like that in that game. And then, I love you, Brandon Harris, but then there was the game in 15. I think it was the first play of the second half. He got picked, and that thing was over.
Was that a Landon Collins pick?
Somebody jumped a route. It was an out route.
Yeah, no, Landon Collins recovered the fumble.
It was Ronnie, the safety. Ronnie Harrison, I want to say.
Harrison.
Yep.
Anthony Jennings, 8 for 26 for 76 yards.
8 for 26.
Yes. 76 yards.
And you lost by a touchdown.
You should have won. Recovered a fumble there late. So that speaks to
Had a
defense
touchdown.
just hanging by a cliff here.
Right.
Can somebody do something? And so now you got the offense and you can't compliment it. It's kind of I don't want to use the word tragic again. But
it's wild. I mean, I told the story of an Alabama fan that was like in the corridor, like kind of we were outside the stadium view. We were kind of Jay was getting a Coke and. We were at the concession stand, and I was just kind of waiting on him to go through the line. I was watching the television, and he's standing right there, and he was sincerely like, what happened to LSU's defense? I mean, like, there's so many years this game has been a slugfest where, I mean, it's so surprising to see this, how bad and how far off LSU defensively is. And it is. I mean, it is. When you step back and look at it, it's like, damn, I mean, this is the program that has produced so many defensive stars, and they can't put 4 quarters together to save their life right now.
Imagine if you didn't have Jayden Daniels this year.
Whew.
Yeah, because you really don't have a consistent rushing game outside of him. I mean, Logan Diggs was pretty steady there for a while, but
it's complimentary.
Yeah,
I mean, it's good, it's solid.
Yeah,
you can't win a game. You know what I mean? If you're Alabama would have crushed
they didn't rush the ball.
Right,
but the running backs didn't against Alabama. I was in the press box talking to Brandon Taylor, of course, safety, 2011, and I was kind of joking with him. I said, Brandon, I said, where have you gone, Eric Reed? Where have you gone, Mo Claiborne, Tyrann Mathieu, Sam Montgomery, Kiki Mingo, Ron Brooks? Ron Brooks was a backup.
I mean,
he was in the NFL for 7 years.
Yeah.
All these guys. Oh, bro. He's just like telling me, he's like, the transfer portal. He said, when I was playing defense, I could look over here at Mo, and he would look back, and I knew what he was thinking. And I'd look over at Tyrann, and he'd look back, and I know what he's thinking. When you grab guys out of the portal and you plug them in, that chemistry and that kind of dynamic of all that, it doesn't come together immediately.
I agree with that. But in the same sense, you can't miss Jordan Matthews. You can't miss Wardell Mack. You can't miss Derek Williams. You can't miss Jacoby Matthews, because that is who that defensive backfield was. It was the top DBs from the state of Louisiana playing alongside one another that had come in the freshman year summer and had been logging these reps with one another, because they had once they got the LSU offer, it was over.
Yeah.
All of those guys had Bama offers. All those guys had Tennessee. I mean, they could have gone anywhere they wanted, but it was about getting to LSU and playing for the state school. That is lost. I mean, to see Wardell Mack's recruitment,
oh my goodness,
it's a punch to the gut. I mean, like, he's not even considering LSU. It's not like he's not even picking up the phone. He's not even giving them the time of day, and it's the state's top DB. I mean, like, that's who he is, and it's mesmerizing to see how far back they are in recruiting, because that's what it comes down to.
Well, it sounds like something from like 1992, right? When Curley was the coach.
Yeah. Telling Marshall Faulk he was going to make him a DB.
Your Marshall Faulks, your Warwick Dunns,
Raynoch Thompson.
These guys are now obviously LSU is still winning. I mean, they got a shot at a 10-win season, and if they win them all, and they're 15 right now, they could finish in the top 10, which is nothing to sneeze at, obviously. They're not going 2-9 like they were in 1992, but it's just I don't know what to think about it, Jordy, because when I'm sitting in Tiger Stadium and I see them play that announcement to give to, what's it called, Bayou Traditions, I'm like, if I'm a fan sitting there, I'm like, okay, I've already paid for my season tickets. I've already paid the TAF fee on the season tickets. I'm paying $10 for a 12-ounce beer or whatever I'm paying for concessions and to park, to all that. And you want to squeeze some more blood out of the turnip that is me? It's like to give money so a guy will come to school here or whatever. I just don't. I know that is what you need now. I don't know. I don't know how much you can ask out of a fan.
Because to me, we're still missing the entire mark on NIL. Like, the whole purpose of NIL was to share the revenue that was being made off of the name, image, and likeness of the athletes. So why are you raising money for NIL? Like, that's what I don't understand. I keep asking the question, well, I thought the whole purpose of this was to share in the revenue that was being brought in off of the name, image, and likeness. Why is this now its own sphere of, now we have to raise money for this? Well, raise money? I thought you already have the money. Like, you're already making the money that has to be distributed to the athletes that's coming in. Isn't that what NIL was all the origination of it? Because they were making all this money. The school and the NCAA was making all of this profit off of the sweat and backs of the athletes, and the athletes were just saying, hey, where's our cut? Why don't we get paid? And from that, it was deemed like, yeah, they should get paid. They should get a cut. So where's their cut? Right? Like, that's the part of NIL that confuses me so much of, what are you fundraising for? The funds are already there.
Right.
It's
because the Advocate puts out every year their breakdown of LSU athletics and what each sport makes, or in LSU's case, really what each sport loses, because football is the only one. Football, men's basketball, and baseball kind of. Maybe it's more now with baseball with NIL and national championships and all that. But I think football clears maybe $20 million or something like that when it's all said and done. I mean, it's a huge number in terms of gross, and it's also a huge number in expenses. But I think you clear about 20 or something like that. I didn't come prepared to talk about that. But and then that obviously, look, women's basketball, as great as it is, it loses $4 or $5 million a year. I think now maybe that's going to start changing with Mulkey to an extent, but your softballs, your track and fields, football's paying for all that. But yeah, to your point, do you say, okay, we're going to take X percentage of our football revenue and give it to student athletes in terms of NIL and all that?
Right. I mean, anything that you can make on top of what is being cut to you is your legal right. I mean, if Angel Reese wants to sign a deal with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, well, she can do that. I mean, that not everybody has that opportunity because of what she is succeeding in doing on the court. But everybody should have a distribution of funds off of the NIL that is being brought in from. I know it's sticky, I know it's money, and I know nobody wants to give it up, but I mean, that's what I thought the whole purpose of it, for turn it into a fundraising aspect where I'm like you're exhausting the fan. Right, even schools like Texas A&M, Texas, people that have these large booster piles with tons of money have to get to a point where you're like, okay, enough's enough. You know what I mean? Like I've paid my tradition fund, I've paid my parking fee, I've paid my season tickets, I've paid my everything that goes along with it. And now
I'm watching a historically bad defense here in the stands. My team has 3 losses. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Jayden Daniels.
And if I cut this check to TAF, I get something in return that I can show the tax man that I'm donating towards, right? If I just cut you a check to NIL, what do I get? What?
Thanks for helping.
You know what I mean? Like what's my perk? What happens? Well, I mean, like, you get to go out to eat with them. Like, nah, I'm good. I either want to write this thing off or I want something in return where I can, if I get to TAF, I get TAF points, which I mean, like, shows that I'm accruing something. I'm getting something. Something's adding up. I mean,
give me free tickets to the Rely Quest Bowl.
Right. It's something.
Not free, but you get first in line.
First in line. That's right.
I don't know, man. And then, I think, with LSU women, like, you're going to start to see, like, some of these things. Like, I wonder what that was based on yesterday in the second half on Angel Reese.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder why she was benched. Coach's decision. I know she didn't want to talk about it when Scarborough asked her about it in the postgame.
One-word answer.
And she's a walking soundbite. Kim Mulkey is, right? And I mean, she usually doesn't hide. She usually doesn't run. She's usually not trying to play games. I mean, but she wasn't going there.
Yeah, well, that's the other side of it. I mean, you are that big now where if I go to a search engine like Yahoo or whatever, how they populate with the articles. I think 2 of them were Angel Reese benched in second half. A women's basketball game in November. 11 in the morning, right. And so now, people are writing up about, Angel Reese, because there is that faction that's just waiting. I mean, the storylines are, people have them in their heads and they've got them ready to go. Angel Reese got soft in the offseason. She, she doesn't care about basketball. She's got all this money. She's not hungry anymore. Those are the things that these people have in their gun ready to go. And so, And that yesterday, I guess, kind of plays into it. Now, I looked at her numbers. She's averaging 17 points a game and 10 rebounds. So
right. She's a walking double-double.
That's what she is still.
Right.
But then when you look at Samaya Smith, she's not far behind. Like, she's averaging 16 points, and I think she's averaging a double-double, too, or close to it. And, Haley hasn't shot the ball all that well so far. She's getting used to her surroundings. But I guess when you have a true freshman that comes out there, and sets the tone, it's like, okay, this might humble a few people.
Right.
And so Michaela's got the personality, too, where I don't think she's going to, not that anyone else has, but I don't think she's going to start smelling her own perfume and get, caught up in herself. I think she's pretty humble and is going to keep working.
Do you have a Heisman vote?
Yes. Scott Rabelais asked me in 2019. It was the first time I voted. That was easy. It was Burrow. And then Devontae Smith, I think that was a pretty easy runaway too. I had to remember, I was like, who won in 2021? That was Bryce Young. I think I voted for him. It's a pretty, like Scott says, it's not that exciting of a process.
Yeah.
You literally
like
log on,
yeah, right.
you type in one name or two, and then you send it in, and that's it. And so I think Les Cease brought up a good point one time. He goes, people are always talking about the leader for the Heisman. There is no leader. You vote once on this date, and that's it. So yeah, I guess there's perception right now who is leading and all that, but yeah, I do vote for. I vote for the Biletnikoff too. That process is a little more involved, and because they're like, name here, put down your top 10. I'm like, let me think about that.
Let me Google real quick.
So, and that's gonna be interesting. Malik certainly knows about the Biletnikoff, and
Is there a criteria that they send you for Heisman voting?
You can vote for anybody, I think. Scott certainly vets and decides which media guys. Steve Schneider has voted for years. I think I don't know how many people vote. 1,000? Or
it's a lot.
It's in the
It's a lot of people.
A lot of people vote, and so. But yeah, if you would put down, if you voted Emory Jones or something, then you might get a phone call. Okay, well, what's going on here? No offense, Emory. I think offensive lineman, you should win it.
Well, they're finalists for the Joe Moore Award.
Yeah. Maybe I should have said a punter or something. But you know what I mean. If you put down somebody kind of really
Lloyd
out
Courtney.
there. Lloyd Courtney for the Heisman. Best mullet in the game.
Yes.
Rock star.
Not a Heisman winner.
Played at Menard, right?
Yes.
These things have to mean something.
So do you give your top 4, or you just vote on your top
I think it's
one?
the top 4, yeah. Yeah, because I covered it. I've never. The only time I went to the Heisman was in 19 when Burrow won it. We weren't in the room. We got to go take a look around the place before. It's a small theater. I got a shot at Billy Cannon's portrait up on the wall there. And I guess there's now a Burrow one there too. And then we were in a hotel across the street, and then they brought all the winners, or they brought all the finalists before and after. Ed Ogeron was there. One of the great live shots I ever did. Afterwards, I'm standing there with Edo, and he's got his arm around me like that, and I literally feel like my ribs are cracking because he's,
digging.
He's digging. He's like, just so proud of Joe and our football team. Blah blah blah. So that was a great memory.
It was.
My dad likes texting me. He's like, "You were there with the Cajun coach in New York City,"
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
No, I was there too. I was on that trip, and being at the Knickerbocker Hotel afterwards, and like celebrating with all of the LSU contingency that was there. The governor was there.
Yeah.
It was a night that was. I still remember Ruffin Rodrigue in his crew that had flown up for the night. It was an event to be in that room, in that moment, and Burrow being, when he walked into that room that night, I'll never forget. I was actually sitting right next to Joe Brady, who was there, and even Brady was like, take it in, like this is historic, this is.
Yeah,
this is something that you'll always remember being a part of, being at, being like watching him enter this room is, kind of a one of those moments and pictures in time of LSU football that'll go down in history. And Daniel seems to be trending towards it. He feels like the best player in college football. He really does. I try to say that objectively.
No one has stopped him
at all.
And you have to stop him. You cut the head off the snake, right? What's he thrown? 4 picks? And I can think about, one, Malik fell down against Florida State. Dwight McLaughlin was the one guy who got him, Arkansas. He jumped that route. Was one against Auburn, got knocked into the air.
And then Alabama tip ball.
So
and the Ole Miss fumble, that was just a textbook tackle. The guy put his helmet on the ball.
He just put him in, yeah.
It was
helmet
just
to the chest.
It was a perfect textbook tackle.
And LSU's about to score on that
And
drive.
for as much as he runs, and for as, like Jacques said, for as much as he's exposed to the field, it's crazy that doesn't happen more. Because
He's not sliding. I've seen him slide one time this year.
I know that somebody was describing him the other day about how, and Jacques, you may be able to speak to this because you've spoken to him up close. He doesn't look like he's strong. He's like spaghetti strong is what they called it. It was
Gumby, like
you know what I mean? Like yeah, right. Like I mean, but if you hit him, he's solid. He's like a piece of marble, you know. But he doesn't look that when he's on a football field when everybody else around him is like chiseled statues, right? I mean,
he does have that in common with Burrow, in which both of them took shots that you're like, oh no,
he's tough,
man. And he gets up and he's, you know, the Missouri thing. I mean, he's playing with injured ribs and leading into a victory.
I mean, even last weekend from the Alabama hit, that was vicious. I mean, that was a shot. I mean, like I expected some type.
That guy was trying to knock him out of the game.
I love the sound. I kind of like that.
That was a press conference, that post-game press conference with Brian Kelly after the Florida game there tonight.
Right.
I could hear people behind me going, wow. Ooh. Like when he said that Dallas Turner was trying to knock Jayden out of the game, and there were a couple other, you know, good sound bites.
I mean, he
there.
wanted you to hear that. Like he had been wanting to say that for a while, right? Like I mean, he was like, you can say whatever you want. Like he tried to knock that guy out of the game. You were like, oh, he's been on this one. He's been sitting on this one since like Tuesday.
Well, when he opened and he said, I want to start by talking.
Listen to me.
I want to start by talking about Noah Cain, and then I think somebody laughed because they thought he was joking. Like I thought I heard a like because I mean obviously everyone wants to talk about Jayden. Jayden was his story. It's like I'm going to start by talking about Noah Cain. You know, the third running back into the game, and I think somebody thought he was joking, and they laughed. And then that's when he said, you know, you're going to sit here and you're going to listen to me. And I'm like, well, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
It's a post-game press conference. But
that's right. I thought the same thing too. Like, well, I mean, okay, that's why we're here.
That's the plan.
I mean, I love listening to Bill Frankus test the mic and his golden pipes, but
right.
But no, that was and I knew like when I tweeted the sound and viral sound always has that flow. First, it's because you're tweeting to LSU fans mostly.
Sure.
And then when you see Bama Billy 1984 retweeted your tweet, this is about to take
about the SEC.
This is about to turn into the Crimson Tide. You know, you guys, you whiny babies, you lost, sore losers, all that. So it definitely that sound definitely blew up. He wasn't fined or anything.
No, and
the SEC didn't come out
lying. He wasn't wrong. You know, I mean I think that was the best part of the soundbite. You know what I mean? Like those are the things that coaches usually try to prevent from saying the truth. You know what I mean? It's like say it. You know, I mean, just say what it is.
As the kids say, Lloyd, where's the lie though?
That's right.
Spot the lie.
You ain't lying now.
Well, I think it had a lot to do with the Andre Sam hit. Also, he's like, what are we doing with the targeting? That's what kind of got the ball rolling.
That kind of gave him the platform,
right?
I was up in the press box when that happened, and the LSU brass, so to speak, just had this look on their face. They were angry.
Should have been
about that.
They should have been. They should.
You know, it's the double kick in the pants where the week before you don't get the call, you knock our quarterback out of the game, you kind of flex on it, and then this week a guy's just kind of going down to make a tackle and you throw him out.
It's pushed back.
Like, he didn't even make the tackle.
I mean, like really and truly, like I mean, he didn't even make the tackle. All right, last one. I get you out of here. Texas A&M job opens up. What do you anticipate there? I mean, gonna get a big name. They're gonna play this thing safe.
I'm not sure. I think that. I think the Houston job is going to come open too, and then maybe the Baylor. Is Aranda going to survive at Baylor? And so you got three big jobs open in
Arkansas?
Texas. Yeah. Arkansas, you know, the Gus Malzahn
Mississippi State's open.
Mississippi State's open. I mean, does Dion land at either College Station or Starkville, two of the more Caucasian boring places?
Right.
You know, really?
Right.
Somebody said the same thing about Colorado. I think it's a little more loosey-goosey.
A little more laid back in Colorado.
You make a good life in Colorado no matter who you are. It doesn't matter.
I don't think Dion's showing up to yell practice or midnight yell.
We got a new coach in Dion.
Deion Sanders.
That'd be real. Does Dan Mullen go back to Mississippi State? Does he swallow his pride? Do they say, "Hey,
it was fun when you were here"?
You know,
you were just about to put the statue up, Dan. You want your job back?
Yeah.
Go Dak.
Go Dak. Go get him again.
So it was at Henning at Oregon. Is he going to go?
Dan Lanning.
Lanning, excuse me. Lanning was the San Diego coach back in the day. No, but I hadn't really thought about it. But and Southern, Southern fires Eric Dooley. I mean, he's had a couple of pedestrian years, but he's winning. I mean, his record's over 500.
Right.
And so I was talking to Kador. I mean, like, Jacques, I don't know where the money is going to come from, because they got to pay for 600, just him, 600,000. I mean, at LSU that's not a big deal, but at Southern,
it's the D-line coach at LSU.
right. But at Southern, I mean, it's not.
It's a budget.
Yeah.
I mean.
So, and then you got your assistants, and then you got to hire a new coach. So. That's interesting. I like Coach Dooley, and
when I saw that come across, I thought, man,
that just shows you everything trickles down, right? And it all trickles down from the NFL, and it's in. I mean, our high school coach is going to start getting buyouts too. I don't know, but I do think I tweeted it the other day. I love college football as much as anybody. It's America. People can do what they want to with their money, but you give a coach $76 million to do nothing.
Yeah,
that's gross.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just think of all the, I'm still driving down Nicholson, potholes and stuff. Can we fix roads? Can we, cure diseases? Can we, all the things that $76 million could do? It's just.
It's making $26,000 a day until 2031. And $1,083 an hour.
I'm sure somebody says, well, would you turn it down if you got it? Well, I guess not, but that doesn't make it right.
And at some point, you got to hold the people who are writing these contracts accountable. How do you believe these contracts make any sense? I mean, I know that Ross Bjork didn't author this contract, but he did extend him and give him more money 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when you're like, for what? Why do you believe he needs more money and more security when he's locked up and the money that he's already making? I mean, I at some point, the authors of these contracts are going to have to be held accountable, because they make no sense. I don't understand a buyout. I don't get why.
Jimmy Sexton, right? I mean,
I know
it's this whole thing.
I know the sports agents are just duping these ADs and just kind of running them through but you look at these NFL contracts and how they exist and how you don't, it's just $76 million, $76 million for this guy to walk away. I mean, who wrote this? You know what I mean? How does this?
Somebody said
staring at going, who did this? Thank you.
Somebody said that during their game the other night, somebody presented a check for $132 million at halftime or something.
Mm-hmm. It was 160.
160, and somewhere Jimbo was in halftime or something. Yep, about 70 of that's going to go to me. 76 of that's going to go to me. But, and look, Brian Kelly has gone to an SEC championship game already, and he's doing much better than Jimbo has done. But, I mean, you got the same thing at LSU. You got a coach that's 90%.
In 3 sports.
In
3, I mean, Jay Johnson's got a decade, Kim Mulkey's got a decade, Brian Kelly's got a decade. Now, look, if you said, hey, you want to bet on these 3? And you're like, yeah, I mean, sure, it sounds good. Yeah. 10 years is a long time.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I you can't fathom Kim Mulkey ever struggling.
Sure.
He never has. And Jay, what he's done, and LSU is up and running, and you don't picture that. I guess Kelly's the one question mark in terms of, I think these next 6 weeks or whatever are going to tell a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Between who stays, the transfer portal, and recruiting into next year. But yeah, I mean, he's going to win. If he wins 10 games back to back, that's a pretty solid start from what you inherited.
McMahon has a 7-year deal.
Yeah,
10 years is a long time.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean still?
Well, I mean, he's 2 years into a 7-year deal.
That was 5 years.
But he hasn't been extended. That's right. Now, I get that to a degree. When he took the job.
Right.
You know what I mean? So much, it was under such a cloud of what
Here's your chance to fix it.
What a dumpster fire
it's going to be. You know what I mean? You had to give him some type of security.
Right.
Look, we're going to make you rich, and we're going to keep you here for a while. And if we don't, we got to give you a lot of money.
Right.
So, I mean, it's, I get that to a degree. But just, I mean, I saw where Ross Bjork was asked yesterday. I'll get you out of here, Jacques. I know you're going to go. SEC Network.
Got a dentist appointment at 9 o'clock. Not that I really want to go, but anyway.
But he was asked, how will you construct the next contract? And he was like, not like, it's going to be incentive based. You know what I mean? Like you'll be able to make this money, but you'll have to go to the playoff and get to the next round and get to the semifinal. And I mean, which contracts that are incentive based make a ton of sense to me. You know what I mean? You got to work to earn it. Jacques, good to see you.
Yeah, which is what I never understood to begin with. We're giving this guy all this money to do this, and then he kind of does it, and we got to give him a raise.
Right.
So anyway,
it is weird. Good to see you. Enjoy the dentist. We'll
thank you.
We'll see you soon.
All right.
Jacques Doucet every Wednesday here with us. Make sure and check him out. Remember Katie's Restaurant down in New Orleans, online at katiesinmidcity.com on Iberville Street. New Orleans favorites on the menu, coldest beer, best service, katiesinmidcity.com on Iberville Street. We'll be back and close it out. Come back with us.
Hey, Chino. Cut my headphones up, bro.
Malik Nabers, a wide receiver.
Favorite pregame meal?
Popeyes.
What would winning a national championship mean to you?
It would mean a lot to me because, we've seen a lot of the greats come through here, won their national championship, got, remembered for life.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Probably fly. That or telekinesis.
What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Do it wrong, do it long. Do it right, do it light.
Carousel, wide receiver, number 2.
Do you have any nicknames?
K2.
What's the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Stay humble.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Fly. I be flying in my dreams.
What's been the highlight of your partnership with us?
The bike giveaway was one of the best things. I was pretty excited about that one. Texas A&M, I just got a point to prove because last year I dropped 2 balls I should have caught. I'm coming for them for real.
That's it. Thank you, man.
My name is Harold Perkins, and I play linebacker.
What's your favorite pre-game meal or snack?
Pasta with a little steak, something that's not too heavy.
Any superstitions or pre-game rituals?
I pray a lot. Just be me and God before the game. Perky worky. I like when they call me the percolator. I like that.
If anyone gets in a wreck, who should they call?
Gordon.
Thanks. Where were you born at, Greg?
Hattiesburg, Mississippi. But I claim 5-0 food because I was raised there my whole life. Favorite type of food is spaghetti. But you need to try spaghetti with some corn on the side. Funniest person, I'd probably get Kyron Lacey. He be having me joked out every time I talk to him.
Who's the most athletic?
Besides myself. Perk or Malik. Future self, just take one day at a time, one step at a time. If you're doing something, just be where your feet are. Make sure you give 100% effort.
What is something on your bucket list?
Win a Super Bowl. That's definitely on my bucket list.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Time traveling.
Who's the fastest on the team?
Like in a short span, I would say quick trigger, I'm taking Perk. One thing most people don't know about me, probably that I moved 12 times growing up, 12 different states.
Who's the most savage on the team?
Mason Smith. Mason Smith, definitely.
And who gets it done?
Gordon.
Thank you, man. That's great.
Emory Jones, right tackle.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Got it from my mom, and she just told me, always keep your head on the swivel.
Favorite subject?
Math, easy. I kind of keep it light. Give me some type of red beans or something like that. Throw a little cornbread on the side.
Light with red beans.
Yeah, just a little bit. I am superstitious. I got some PSDs that's purple and yellow and white. I wear them every game. I feel like they my lucky draws, and you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep doing it.
As primary care sports physicians, the things we think about the most with our athletes from a medical standpoint usually involves the head, the climate, and the heart. We have to be very careful about participating in sports when it is safe, but also having the proper equipment to take care of them if we are worried about the athletes. So here in Louisiana, obviously heat can be a big problem. Things that I think about as a primary care sports medicine physician is that it's safe enough for our athletes to participate. And there are certain regulations that we follow here at Ochsner, but throughout the entire state, to make sure it is safe for our athletes to participate. When we think about concussion, we have to really recognize those symptoms from the forefront, and that becomes a cultural issue as well. As for the heart, screening exams are by far the most important thing that we can think about. We go through a series of questions, but also listen to the athlete's heart and ask about family history and other symptoms they may have had in the past. By doing so, we can identify and potentially screen out athletes to make sure that they are safe to participate in the sports that they love to do.
Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done. Corrects done. Personal injury done. Workers' comp done. Truck wrecks done. Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done.
It was Christmas Eve. Santa Claus was riding in his sleigh. He was packed with toys for the girls and boys, merrily on his way. Winter breaks riding on a reindeer, pulled right and hey, Santa Claus got Gordon, got it done.
Merry Christmas from Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and in every Louisiana house, all the creatures were stirring.
Santa's coming.
Even the mouse. The stockings were hung, the cookies were out. Santa was on his way to Louisiana, there was no doubt. So let's celebrate the season and start the new year off right. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good night.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Okay, Gordon, ready to talk a little bit about yourself today? Okay, good. Tell us, who is Gordon McKernan?
Great question. In a lot of ways, I'm just like most people. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a son. I am a brother. I'm a Christian. I am a Tigers fan. I am a Louisiana sportsman. But above all, I am grateful to the people of Louisiana. We want to be your lawyers for life. Hi, I'm Gordon McKernan. Everyone has a special Christmas memory. One of mine is when I woke up on Christmas morning, ran down the stairs, and there it was, a brand new red bicycle.
That is why this Christmas, Gordon McKernan is giving away over 425 bicycles throughout the state of Louisiana.
To register, please fill out a form online at GordonGives.com or GetGordon.com. And make sure to visit the Get Gordon Facebook page for additional details and chances to win. From all of us here at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, Merry Christmas and God bless.
Yeah, right there.
Now I'm focused on getting deposits. Evil in the way, now I'm just driving around it. They said I need a soul searching, I already found it. I unlocked my other side, now I'm sounding astounded. Drive by and let it ride like a whip in a Tesla. Pressure never fazed me, cause I'm bigger than pressure. I'm on my grind, bullshit, can't fit on my schedule. I'ma do what's best.
All right, welcome back here. Jordy Culotta Show, as always, built by our friends over at RNB Builders and brought to you daily by our friends over at Hughes Mechanical Contractor. Travis Hughes and his crew over at Hughes Mechanical can get you set up for HVAC repair, both residential and commercial today. 225-658-2147 and online at hughesmechanical.net. Remember, they're a trusted Daikin dealer over there. Air-conditioned service that you can trust from Zachary to the North Shore to New Orleans, all around South Louisiana. They can help you out today. Online, hughesmechanical.net. hughesmechanical.net. Just reading online here that Deshaun Watson shut it down after needing shoulder surgery, out for the rest of 2023. Is he going to undergo? Watson missed 4 games earlier this year with a rotator cuff strain in his throwing shoulder. He returned 2 weeks ago on Sunday. Played a pretty good game.
He was starting to play better.
Arizona led him to a win last week versus Baltimore, but he looked around, saw Jimbo Fisher's getting $75 million, realized, you know what, my contract looks a lot like Jimbo's.
I get paid
Except,
this year
you know
for this.
what? You just get a lot more money.
This is all
I
guaranteed.
don't really like football anyway. I'm
grab
out of
it.
here. Calendar's about to turn cold up in Cleveland. You know what? I'm going back to my summer home in Houston.
Got to get and if a
couple of massages.
He has to rehab that shoulder. He's a specialty at that.
Hand me that earpiece.
Yes, I brought my own towel.
Nah, you know what? I'm actually going to watch the game from up in the box today. It's too cold down here on the field.
Actually won't be around.
Good luck to you boys, though.
Yeah, good luck in Cleveland. And as we talk about the Jimbo Fisher news, we've got some quotes from some coaches, one of which being Urban Meyer. Herb put his 2 cents in when asked about
I'd love to see Herb.
The A&M job. He said, no desire.
Sure.
Herb told Allie Peak, I love what I'm doing. That ship has sailed. I'm very grateful for, I think, 37 years in the game and loved it. No desire. You can't trust a word out of that man's mouth. So
didn't you say he wasn't going to coach before?
Herb, how does $9 million a year sound?
Guaranteed.
I think I'm
next 6. You got that itch back?
Yeah.
How's that brain aneurysm you were dealing with back in Florida?
Especially if you make it incentive based for him.
How's that heart attack stuff you were dealing with back in Ohio State? Saban's still in the league. He's a lot older than when you fake that
heart attack.
Yeah, when you fake that cardiac arrest on the sidelines back in Atlanta.
Steve Spurrier's coming back to coach. No, I'm definitely out. That man was so scared of Steve Spurrier.
Herb?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, he's the antithesis of Herb.
Right.
You know, I mean, he's Herb's oil to water.
He's what Herb wants to be.
Or what Herb is scared to death of, somebody calling him out at every turn.
I know exactly what you are.
Yeah,
Herb, like me.
I know exactly who you are, man. You can't fake it around me.
They still love me at Florida. Herb is gone.
10-year contract.
Big noon kickoff. He just slid right back on the desk.
He's unbelievable.
Just slippery little fella.
Unreal how he has just dodged everything.
Sunglasses on TV.
The white O.J. Simpson.
He is.
Never in trouble.
Who, me?
I didn't do that.
What do you mean?
There's pictures of it. No. It's all good fun.
That wasn't me.
She works for me.
Tebow was there.
Yeah. Bless you.
What do you mean? I mean, Tebow was there.
Tebow and Chico, man.
Yeah. Tebow said, I went to confession with Tebow after, absolved me of my sins, and went back out.
Threw some holy water.
Yeah, kicked a kicker. Nobody cared.
Yeah, right. Hired a racist.
Yeah.
Nobody said anything.
Tried to bury it on the Friday news dump.
Herb, you can't hire this guy.
It's been well known. And it's also, he had the man that's gone crazy, Coach Smith, Zach Smith.
Yeah, Zach Smith.
I mean, Herb protected him as long as he could.
And now he's on Twitter just out there, Coach.
Like, everywhere.
Everywhere. It is an account to just, if you want to spend about 10 to 12 minutes to see if this man's sane or not, go look at his Twitter, because I don't think he's all there.
Zach Smith?
Yeah,
yes.
he was.
His Twitter is wild.
His Twitter is wild.
He's eating up the Michigan thing.
Yeah,
he took that and ran with it.
But he was that might be actually where he's somewhat qualified.
Did you watch the Harbaugh press? Did you watch the whole thing?
No, I did not.
Did you see like the Judge Judy references?
Yes.
Him and his dad watching Judge Judy.
He's actually been on Judge Judy. He was a guest on Judge Judy. This man, he said he embodies her. He loves her honesty.
I don't want to like Harbaugh, but I do.
I love him.
I love him. I love the way he's handling this.
Did you see this deep fake where he's talking about Michigan being the America's team? Like that's not real. Somebody did that on AI.
No.
Yes.
Wait.
It's so convincing.
That press conference is AI?
Uh-huh.
Wait, you're telling me the press conference that I'm talking about with the Judge Judy stuff never happened?
I don't know if this is the Judge Judy one. It's the one where he references Michigan as America's team.
Well, it's the one where he said,
it that one?
Who's got it better than us?
Yeah, that one's fake.
That's a fake press conference?
Yeah.
AI is a real thing, Coach. That thing is living and breathing right now.
I would not have known if the story did come out that this isn't real. You could play it if you want. Just type in. You can't tell.
Bro, I'm shook.
Yeah,
me too. I'm right there with you, Coach.
So wait.
Just type in Jim Harbaugh AI. It's on. So if you go to JASRI football on Twitter, you can pull it up there. It's so real. Did you get that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. But I mean, it'll blow your mind because there's a little something. If you're looking for it to be fake, you can kind of tell maybe with the lines get blurred a little bit, and the way his mouth is moving is a little okay, looks like he's lip syncing a touch. But if you didn't know, that thing would have just lived and breathed as if it was real. I don't know what we're gonna do about this.
This AI thing is wild.
Yeah, they could have made him say anything.
Bro,
speechless.
I gotta find this.
Want me to send it to you?
Yeah, send it to me, please. This is I'm I'm lost for words.
Yeah, we almost need to sign off. I don't know what else I'll say.
This is AI right now, what they're watching.
Yeah. Coming to you live from AI. Kid.
What account are you on, Stutzes?
No, I'm on Stewie Football.
I mean, I am reading that this happened. Jim Harbaugh missed in his news conference Monday. Harbaugh addressed not only upcoming hearing that will decide whether or not he can be on the sidelines against Maryland. So he did have a press conference.
He did, but this is a fake one.
Harbaugh opened by praising Michigan admin, alumni, fans for their support. Very proud of the players. Harbaugh on his suspension hearing. Despite criticism around Michigan over the last several weeks, Harbaugh stood by his roster and said he thinks America should too. They've got to be America's team, Harbaugh said. America's love. This is fake?
Yes.
Because I am reading this from the Detroit Free Press.
I'm telling you, they
part of the USA Today network.
They debunked it on McAfee yesterday. That's what made me think of it. They were like, this isn't real. They had to put disclaimers all over the screen. They're like, this is not a real press conference. This is AI. And you'll see it on this screen, I'd imagine. I don't know what he said in this one versus that one. Like, they had to have a real press conference, and they dubbed over it with AI on this one. So some of it may be true, but this one is fake.
Thank you, everyone, for coming and allowing me to address this. The rumors are true.
I can. The lips are fake.
Teams,
That's fake.
How was I supposed to know that was illegal? We Michigan men do anything we can to get ahead, even if it may seem dirty. I'd like to remind you all that in spite of recent minor success, I am still 1-6 in bowl games and 2-5 against the Ohio State University. I'm just doing
Do we have the real
what
one?
I can to drag this sorry program out of the mud.
No, I mean, I'm not falling for that.
Well, of course, no, not because of what he's saying, but the quality of it, you could, because you know it's fake.
So you're telling me that he never called Michigan America's team?
I guess he did. That one must be the real one.
Okay.
I've never seen the real press conference.
Okay.
I've only seen the fake
It sounds like we just got AI'd by Lloyd.
Yes.
We just got duped by Lloyd. That's on me. That's my fault. I bit the bait.
That's right.
I bit the bait on Lloyd. Good job there, Lloyd.
Thank you, sir.
Good job.
AI.
Lloyd
It's
just sold us
everywhere.
on the last 10 minutes at the Harbaugh press conference was AI, and
Well,
you had me.
We had to get to 9.
You had me.
I wanted to get to 9 p.m. 9 a.m.
you got me there.
So
America's
trust
team
no one.
was real. The Judge Judy was real.
Yes.
Who's got it better than us?
Nobody. AI.
Nobody
was real.
He's like, we like to say around here, who's got it better than us? Nobody.
Like, and the fact that nobody else said it and he's just by himself is.
He is AI though. He's a character.
Lloyd, you're AI.
That's right. We're in the flesh.
We've debunked the whole thing.
Let me put the cleats on and the khakis.
A name to watch here on this defensive coordinator search for LSU that is not officially opened up, but I mean, my goodness, it's going to open up, right? Have you seen what's going on at UCLA? It looks like they're going to fire Chip Kelly. It looks like that Chip Kelly is running out of real estate up there, but he's got a defensive coordinator that, if you've been paying attention to UCLA football, they have their defense. They're not losing because of that side of the ball. D'Anton Lynn is Anthony Lynn's son. If you remember Anthony Lynn, he's the old Chargers head coach. And I believe Lynn is the running backs coach, maybe in Baltimore now, Anthony Lynn. But his son, D'Anton Lynn, was on Baltimore's staff last year and was plucked away by Chip Kelly in the offseason, where Kelly came in, gave him $1 million to run that side of the ball in just a year. He's got UCLA trending into some look, they're playing really well right now, at least defensively. When you look at that side of the ball, that could be a name that LSU you may want to think about. I mean, young, up and coming, got the bloodline, which we've talked about. Doesn't and not going to take a lot of money. Maybe he's made himself a ton of money out there, but for what LSU pays their coordinators and the budget that they have in the football department, really money should not be an issue as far as making the hire goes. just a name to watch if you're paying attention and looking for names off the board. I know we've talked a lot about guys like Zach Arnett who have opened up, and if Dave Aranda is removed at Baylor, kind of depends on what they want to do from a coordinator, a head coaching standpoint. But DeAnton Lynn is a name to keep a heads up on.
A name to watch if Dave Aranda is fired at Baylor is Carl Williams, cornerback from Baton Rouge. Went to Southern Lab, signed to Baylor. Was offered by LSU, but I think it came down to LSU and Baylor, and he went to Baylor.
At EDB's coach. The AI press conference, we got duped on. Sorry about that. The Harbaugh stuff is real. Lloyd is a degenerate.
Just live on the internet.
We will be back tomorrow, 7 a.m.
That's real.
We appreciate your interaction. Like, share, follow. Make sure to subscribe before we get out of here.
Stay safe traveling, Stewart.
Happy day.
Hey, Chino. Put my headphones up, bro. You right there. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time. It's the hottest show around, we ain't gotta flex. Call up G, we get it done, we earning our respect. Tell recruits to let us in, where they going next. Throw up the L's, now we lit, band playing neck. From the boot to the east to the west coast. No matter where we at, we live, mic'd up for show. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you